Welcome gamers to this very short video. I just wanted to show you WorldBox Simulator with the new additions that have come with what they're calling the Mega Box drop. It's basically a big update for the game. It's still in early access, the game. It's an incredibly good God simulation game. As you can see there, WorldBox is a minimalistic God and simulation sandbox game. It's really cool. Anyway, I'm not going to go through too much about the actual game itself. Let's just close this one off. And it always starts off with like a random map with a volcano in the middle, and you can sort of zoom right in. There will be some creatures that will spawn immediately. There we go, we've got something. Actually no, that's just a resource. There's different resources, different biomes. The biomes will spawn different sorts of creatures as well. So it's there's like a mushroom biome. There's a crab. So Kaba is its name. And so even all of the different figures, if we just go and actually have a look at that one there, we can sort of have a look to see what they've actually got on them. Anyway, I don't want to get distracted. It's one of these games that I can sit and happily watch it do its thing for hours. It's quite good fun. What I'm just going to do is I'm going to go and create, using this same map. There are a heap of other maps and things, or random maps. You can sort of create your own as well. I won't go through all of that, but let's just go and drop in some different creatures. We've got 4 sentient races, so let's just go and throw some humans in over here. Now if I press shift, I can sort of just leave them where they are. I'll just do another batch of them there. Actually that's 32. Do another batch there, 31. Do another batch over here. They haven't settled their own land yet. They will eventually. There they go, getting ready to go, and they've now done that one. We'll do one more in here. And that one there just needs a little bit more. Okay, so there we go. So this group of humans hasn't actually done anything. That one's now splitting off. Let's go and get some orcs as well, just so we've got something a bit different. So the Ordos of Death, and we'll throw another one down this way. They may sort of go off and tackle one of the others. So anyway, there's different orcs and orc bands now sort of wandering around, trying to find what they're going to be doing. They're killing bears in that case. They'll eventually sort of establish their own, yep, there we go, the Og of Az. And so there's different empires now building up sort of slowly in the game, which has always sort of done this, or sort of has always done this. And so we're seeing different sort of combat, like there's a combat between 2 different factions in through here. So they're now sort of fighting away. But it's not actually a war as such at this point in time. This is just early scrimmaging, I guess, between different competing factions competing for the same borders. So the 2 kings are essentially going off. One is a human, one is an orc. And I'm just going to speed up the game now, and then we'll just have a look and see what actually does happen. There's going to be a few little things that will sort of chop and change with what we're doing. So I'll just go back out to here, and we will speed up time. We'll make it go at 5 times speed. And so these will now start to grow. They're going to start building their own bits and pieces. I won't zoom in this instance, and I'll just wait until we start to see some of the new things that do actually occur in this incredibly good little sandbox game. See, by now we're sort of moving through. It's now year 10 as an example. And they're sort of slowly getting through. But if we're actually in a time of peace, one of the changes that actually has come in is we've now got these different ages. And when I click on these, we can decide which ages we want to have in the world, whether we want to have like certain ones that do impact it. But the age of hope, so the world is full of life and hope, and people feel optimistic about what was to come. Now, they'll still do what they do, but it's a bit more peaceful than what it normally would be. And it does take a long time for it to then come through, but we can turn them off, or we can flick across to different ages. So there's like 10 different ages back and through here. Some of the most, like the age of chaos is going to sort of make people more violent. Not dramatically though, like as I say, they will still form wars against each other even in the age of hope. But it's just a little bit more difficult for them to do that. Let's just go back. But you can actually manipulate what happens with your world with that. So you can see there the king and the heir is sort of just moving around in each of the actual factions as I hover over them. We've got it so that we can sort of see exactly what's going on with the we're in kingdom view at the moment. I might just flick across to the next view actually, which is this one in through here. And so we're looking at kingdom layer as the default, and so it's just giving us essentially what the stats on the kingdom. We can also go through to things like the cultures. So this is the name of the cultures that these different kingdoms belong to. Now they haven't really taken over anyone just yet, so there's no There's no division between culture and kingdom at this point in time, but there will be eventually. Alliances, there's no alliances. Oh, there we go. Now we're just starting to get some interesting things happen. We can see there's actually two little buttons have now appeared above this one and this one back over through here. These are plots. And so what we can now do is see, okay, well, what's going on with those? This is new in the game, and it happens on this kingdom layer as well. And so I'll just go back to kingdoms back in through there, so we can see the Ock has got like a little shield, and the great Shov has got like a little cross sword symbol. So if we go across to plans and plots, so this is a new addition, we can then sort of see that there's actually two different units. There's a group planning an alliance, and so we can have a look to see this one through here. So they started by Etaj, which is one of the characters, and the target for this one here to try to create an alliance is actually that's an Orc group that they're trying to actually form an alliance with. The kingdom is the Oz of Death. It's got 67 influence. What's this one got? This one's got massive influence. So this is the kingdom, the Ock. So Etaj is that one there. So started by Etaj, and so the human is actually now considering it. And so this so Etaj is planning to create a new alliance with this human group. So if we just close that one off and go back in and have another look at the next plot as well. So the next plot is planning a war, and so we actually have. Chilagu is the king planning this particular war. The members are basically just Chilagu at this point in time. So he's actually against the Ock. And so the Ock is this group in through there. They're actually bigger. So that could be fairly interesting to sort of see what does go on there. Anyway, that's two of the little things we're seeing. So we'll just watch what actually happens. So the plots are forming. And we'll see what happens when these actually do form. So we can now get more information. There's the other one. So these are the two trying to form their alliance. It looks like that alliance stopped, and there's now another one trying to form. This one's still trying to think and formulate the plans to do this attack. There we go. I'll just pause it here. We now have a war that's just started between these two. This one's the attacking group, and this one's the defending group. And so if we go back and have a look now in close, we should then start to sort of see. So the game is now giving us much more information about what's going on. We can also then go and click on the wars list and see what's going on through here as well. This is the War of Fools, which has just been created. No deaths yet from either side. This one has got 23 warriors versus 11 warriors, and there's an alliance here. Actually, there is an alliance, the Kingdom of Ock and the Kingdom Oz of Death. So both of these kingdoms are together, but they've only got 11 warriors that can actually then go and fight. This group has got 75 population. This one's only got 42, but it does have more warriors. And so we'll start to be able to sort of see what does go on through here. If we can just sort of try to find their forces. Looks like they're building up through there. There they go. I might just make this one go down to a slower speed. And so they're now charging in with their warriors. You can sort of see the little shields and things, little swords. They're hitting different groups. They're going to try to sort of burn down the buildings as well. They'll start to try to destroy things. Oh, it's such a cool game. Anyway, we're seeing a few deaths there now. So if we go back to our wars and then have a bit of a look, we can sort of see that that this group has actually lost 10 dead, and so down to just 2 warriors. And so the war is being prosecuted fairly effectively by the neighbours there. It looks like they may have. What are they going to do now? They're going to keep on going after leadership, and they've actually now won the war. So the War of Fools has now ended, so we can go back across. There's nothing else there, no active wars anymore, and we can now see that this group, the Great Shov, has now taken over all of this. So this kingdom is now much bigger. through that particular combat. So I'm glad I got to show that. That's actually sort of one of these are some of the big changes that have come, the way that this can actually then be implemented. Now we can also, if we wanted to push that around, now that just happened automatically just through randomized sort of plotting, etc., etc. Eventually there'll be more and more that will then sort of plot, but this one now controls two different areas. And again, if we now have a look back through the culture layers, it's still got the two different separate cultures. And it also will then have the alliances. Yeah, the holy. Actually, we're not seeing there the actual alliances as such. It's there's no alliances that are formed now. We've actually destroyed that alliance. The village layer will then sort of show the two different villages that we actually have now within that one kingdom. And then we can also put the clan layer as well in through there as well, just showing sort of like the different sorts of clans that are around. But the kingdom layer is the default, and so we now still have our king and the heir, and these are the where they're actually located at this point in time. So that's actually really cool the way that one does actually work. I thought that's actually even just that alone is a big change. When we've got that, we've got the ages. What else is there? There's a few different things. I mean, with this now, like there's other things built around this one, and so you can make everyone despise this kingdom. For example, if we think, okay, look, you're too aggressive, we're going to click on this button, and we can just go and click on this kingdom. So and make this then the arch enemy of everyone in the world. So if we do that one and click on that one, it's now an enemy of everyone. And what we'll see is we'll start to I'll just get rid of that one. What we'll start to see is there'll be different groups now rushing in to attack this particular group. That's not them. There should be. Still got a big army. They may be getting groups ready. Let's do that again. I can force. Here they go. Here they go. They've now collected themselves. Oh, and these guys have now got on their forward path as well. So they're going in to attack everyone else. So it's now everyone against this particular kingdom. This group's now going back up into the kingdom to attack them. And again, we don't control any of this. It just happens. I mean, we did force this particular group. Now, this is not a. This is not actually a war as such, but there will be combat. There will be battles. If we move back, we'll then start to see battle lines. We'll see other different bits and pieces happening as well. So it's much easier to see what's going on where people are trying to take over different areas. It's just taken over this area as well. So the Great Shov now has actually sort of taken over this portion, and it's now. But this one is under threat from the Holy Iku. So the Holy Iku is in the process of taking over this region. So our guys, I say our guys, but these guys should come back. Looks like that's going to fall. It has fallen. And so these are now going to be fighting each other again. I'll just get rid of this again. So there's now another war going through. I don't know if that will show up as a war. It is actually the Green Oblivion. There it is. And so we can sort of see there that there's pretty even in terms of deaths. The members are everyone against, of course, the Great Shov. And so it's just a full-on battle to extinction. The others don't have enough forces. So they're starting to now take over this village. Starting to control it. So when we're back to here, we can start to see the shapes coloured. Somebody else is down this way as well. So there's another smaller group where they're fighting. So they're having a hard time of that. Great Shov is only left with this now. So A has now sort of grown a little bit bigger. And that's the end of the Great Shov. The Holy Echo now is the big one. We can also do other things where we say, okay, look, I really want these two to actually have a war with each other. So we can go across and go Whisper of War. So whisper into someone's ear to start a war with them. So if we go and say, okay, look, you start a war with them. There we go. We've just created another war. So the warfare in the game now has really been improved. Anyway, I don't want to spend too long with this, but this is now we're going to sort of see that the armies here and the armies down here should go off after each other. Here they come. Here they come. Combat occurring down on this side. There will be other events and things like that as well, like as different kings and things are killed. If we have a look at the war for this one, this is the evil fight between these two, and these have taken a big loss. Kingdom of A. So the Kingdom Holy Iku is actually doing fairly well. Anyway, I thought I'd just show this because it's one of these sort of fun little sandbox games that like it's also on Android and Apple, I think, but it also is on Steam. So this is actually the Steam version that I'm showing. I do also use it on Apple. It's just one of these little time wasters that you can just sort of sit back and just watch what it does. These guys are trying to form an alliance again, so you can sort of see the plots, you can see the wars. There's so much in it. Like, I mean, I haven't really sort of shown much at all. I won't go through too much of it, but you can certainly sort of, you know, put down all sorts of different creatures to sort of be in the world, different disasters, destructive powers, all sorts of stuff, depending on what you want to do with it. I actually quite enjoy just seeing what happens. Like this one's being taken over here. So that particular one is being taken over. So the Holy Echo has now become massively big. These guys are trying to form an alliance. So they're all sort of doing that, but not with Ahai. Ahai is going to lose theirs completely. Yep, so they've now fallen to this massive kingdom up the top through here, which is doing very, very well. So anyway, that's WorldBox with the Mega Box update. I thought I'd just show it because it does make it much, much easier now to actually just sort of look at the game and get an understanding of it from the high up. It was always fun. You could never tell what was going on in the past. You had to sort of be in close to sort of have a look to see what was going on with anything with the actual game itself. Whereas now with these empires, we do get to see it. And as I say before, the other thing that is good is to have these different ages that we actually have. One thing with this though, I do find that if we click across to say the Age of Darkness, it is very dark. It's not so bad when we're looking at this, but when we start to zoom in, it's very hard to see what's going on. So I don't like the Age of Darkness just from the aesthetic. I wish there was a way to tweak the actual levels of this, but I don't think there is. I haven't really had a good look, but I'm pretty sure there's no options for just the amount of darkness that's actually there. The Age of Darkness will start to spawn monsters as well, so there should be little fights with monsters at different times. If we sort of listen for yelling, there's a wolf or some sort of creature. And if we want pause, actually it's a rhinoceros, that one. Sorry, that's it's been hard to see. So that is actually, that's the wrong one we clicked on. We've got to go the thick-nosed. So this is, God, we've got the same guy again. No, I'm just keep on getting clan members. So there will be different creatures spawning, but there should be sort of more evil creatures now sort of spawning on the map in different areas. Just listen for more yelling. Anyway, look, I won't get... it's one of these games I can just, as I say, I can spend a lot of time just farting about, looking at what's going on and just enjoying the ride. It's I do like these sort of games, I've got to say. Well, they're not even... Are they games? They're not really games, are they? They are just sandboxes where you just watch and see what happens. Who's going to win? Who's going to take over the world? It's very cool the way it does actually work. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I will leave it here, and I will catch you... well, this will be a one-off video for WorldBox, so I probably won't see you. Special thank you to my Patreon supporters, anyone who's bought any merchandise, anyone that supports the channel in any way. Likes and subscribes are also very, very welcome. I hope you enjoyed this little one-off video. As I say, a pretty cool game with some massive additions that have now come in with these various ages that have now been added into the game itself. Whoa, what happened there? So this is the sort of stuff that does go on. There's been some sort of evil attack in here from something, but I don't know what it was. I'm not sure if we're going to see that in the history. Yeah, actually with a screaming noise, something has fallen from the sky. We can go to the location, which is this one here. So there's been an asteroid which has fallen. So it's got all these sorts of things. If you only if you turn on the disasters, where is it? Other disasters or natural disasters. It'll be one of these. So you can actually turn on the different rules of how the game actually will apply. And so in this case, there has been sort of like a lot of devastation. There's some resources left behind with this as well. So there's like iron. In fact, that's a little creature. This is a... no, actually, that's somebody else from that particular tribe. There's more attacks going in somewhere. Yeah, maybe iron, but I'm not sure. Anyway, that's all good. So anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.